5 minutes ago. So
Yeah, no, they roll in and out. We'll have some from SimEasy that'll come in and we'll rank it out, but we hit about 400, 500 a week.
yeah, that's great, man.
No viewers, so they start passing it around and telling everybody, and
Oh, that's cool.
it's awesome. Byron, you're eating. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the SEO show. You know me. I'm the dick in charge. Brian Burt is our special guest, and you know the SEO rock star over there, known as Byron, my boy toy.
What's up, guys? No, that is not true.
That sounds
Well, you're going to be this weekend. My wife's like, "Do you guys want to share a room, or what's going to happen?" And I'm like, "No, we're good."
No, we're good. I'll be 5 miles away. No.
It's like, I'm excited, man. I get to go back. I get to see all my old stomping grounds, my boys that I hung with.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Mr. Burt, massive, massive.
Yeah, man.
I can never remember which order it's in.
Yeah.
Thank God Facebook just goes, yeah, this is the one you wanted.
Passiveandmassive.com.
How's the weather?
Dude, wait, I'm in Chicago, so we don't talk about the weather. We don't talk about it, man.
Dude, my family is just bitching. My aunt, she lives over in Downers.
Yeah.
And she's like, the roof's leaking. And somebody's like, do you have snow on the roof? She goes, I live in Chicago. Of course I do.
Right.
It's like, yeah, no doubt.
Last month we had wind chills down into the negative 20s.
Yeah.
So that's brutal. Yeah, definitely looking at a possible move here at some point. I'm looking at NorCal right now. So.
Oh, yeah. I would go that direction, but crossing the border adds about 2 zeros to everything, so.
Yeah.
I'm cool in Arizona. We can drive 6 hours, and either way, I can be in Vegas or I can be in LA. So.
Yeah, so where are you in Arizona, man? You're Glendale, or?
Yeah, I'm Glendale. I'm about 5 minutes from the stadium where they're going to have the Super Bowl and all that.
Yeah. I lived in South Scottsdale for about 12 years, so I know.
Okay, yeah. Well, Ed, we're over, everybody does everything over in Scottsdale, so, it's like, oh, internet meeting, Scottsdale. I'm like, that's 45 minutes, dude.
Right, yeah, I miss those dirt hills, man, for sure. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's awesome. Awesome weather. It's cold as hell. It's about 65, so.
Oh, terrible. I feel for you, Frank. I really do.
I had to throw a sweatshirt on to walk the dog. I'm like, oh, my God, what? Cold snap's got to, it's got to end soon.
I got to take off my flip-flops and put on slippers.
Hey, you guys. I'm over here. It's like I can't even open my window without my eyelids freezing shut.
Yeah,
Where are you, man?
Idaho.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Idaho, snowfall and potatoes.
That's about it. Dude, I found out Idaho has the lowest average income per capita in the nation. I was just reading. It was just interesting. So I'm kind of like a god here.
Who did that? Who said that?
I don't know. I just saw a study.
Yeah, you better check the Appalachian Mountains of Kentucky.
Yeah.
They don't even get food stamps over there.
Right.
Oh, man. So what we got going today?
There is one, we're going to talk to Brian. He's got a massive group that's jumped between Passive Massive and Mad Rank. I think, these people who are actually out there and doing things and have their businesses behind them are, people are kind of flocking to that. It's less of a guru and more of a holy shit, he does this for a living.
Yeah.
By the way, I will tell you, Brian, your office is exactly how I want my house to be. I yelled at my wife, dragged her out of the shower. I said, look at the floors. Look at the brick walls. Look at, the beam. I was like, that's it.
Not this. See, I'm at my house today. Not this.
You're in the house. No, your office. Beautiful wife, by the way. I'm not stalking you, but I mean, when you're doing webinars and I'm watching all the pictures, I'm like, wow.
It only took me 16 years to lock her down. So there you go.
The office or the wife?
Nice.
Both, actually. Yeah, both. So I knew her in high school, and we were best friends, and it just kind of got better from there. So.
Shut up, man. Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm married to a girl that was in my English class in 8th grade.
Love it, dude. That's awesome. Same story for
Yeah,
sure.
well, we didn't talk for 22 years, but no, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So we're gonna talk to Brian about what he's doing, what he teaches, all his what has given him the ability to have a successful business. We can go over all this new shit with Google. Did you hear that they're selling domains now?
I did not hear that, so that's news to
Oh
me.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Frank and I have been going back and forth trying to figure out what we think about it. Interesting.
That sounds really scary. That sounds really scary.
Well, there's two things. If you're a local person who's building a website that doesn't know anything and you're just starting out and you're not getting into SEO, but it's your site, your blog or whatever, I think it's a great thing. You buy it, Google knows who you are, they know the process, you're trusted, they're trusted, so it's almost like having a Google property. They can keep a better eye on you because now you're registered. So they're going to give you probably a little bit more rank love if you're doing everything right. As SEO guys who spend our lives hiding 99% of what we do, I won't go near them.
Right.
I was going to register a site, put it up, and just do a stupid blog, even an auto blog. Their prices are ridiculous. I get a .com for $8.19. Huh?
How much for a .com with Google?
I get $8.19, but I'm on the bulk license. Mine's $8.19 no matter what.
Right, and that's with who? GoDaddy?
GoDaddy, yeah.
Right, yeah, I'm on the same thing. What is Google asking right now for their
their specialties are 30 and up.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even find a price for a regular .com because they wanted me to enter information. I'm like, oh hell no, you've got enough on me. And I'm a Google boy. I love everything about Google. Google sends me little nicety packages every now and then. They bought me pizza, all these little things.
I remember that. The pizza box.
the pizza box.
Yeah, I think I still have it actually.
Yeah, that was a good promotion. I have my my new MasterCard from Google.
Very cool.
So, I'm a fanboy, but professionally, I keep my shit hidden.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me play devil's advocate, Frank, right? Google is nothing if not nepotistic, right? So,
Absolutely.
Do you think there'll be any advantage to buying a Google domain? I mean, I can see them giving some rank love just based on the fact that you purchased it through them.
Minimal.
You think
minimal? So? If I had a client say, look, I'm going to go pick something up and this and that, ease of use, tracking, customer service, and all of that, GoDaddy.
Yeah.
You can get on the phone. Google, you got a problem with YouTube, you're not getting an email response for 6 weeks.
Right.
You got a problem with Gmail, they send you over to the forum. I can just see what this massive, I want to spend $1,000 and buy 100 domains. I'm not going to get any one-on-one. I'm not going to get a manager. I know guys who are spending $10,000, $20,000 a week with ads on Google, and they can't get their managers to call them back.
Wow.
And that's that's that crazy talk.
Yeah.
The support's going to be an issue. I mean, I think they will put a little bit of weight on the domains. I mean, how extensive, I don't know, but it does make sense just because of the weight that they put on other things like Google Plus and all the products that they have out there that they've rolled out the last 3 to 5 years. There's definitely been a bias on those products.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I know for a fact that when Google Plus came out, it was real easy to manipulate the rankings there for a little while.
Oh yeah.
I think it still has an effect. That's still part of our integrated strategy is we're getting Google Plus ones and shares on Google, and I mean that makes a big difference. I think. What do you guys think?
Your Google circles, and I love being able to segment out the circles and find influencers. I have 1,800 Google staff members in one circle.
Yeah.
And I tag them with an invite to these shows.
Nice.
I go to their hangouts. I do those things. I was on the Google Hangouts. Zane Miller and I started the first Hangout show ever. You know, and we were doing Hangout training 3 weeks after it started. So, you know, we were right there. The Google Plus. He's a major Google Plus trainer now. You know, he's all into, you know, the Google Plus in your business and all this.
Mm-hmm.
It's Facebook for geeks.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
that's how I see it. You know, it's the geek stuff. It's the tech. They don't want to be spammed. And at the beginning, that's what people did. Well, you sort of got, you know, slapped around by Google, and they started tracing the rest of your packages and your properties, and because everything's tied together, you know, people went, oh my God, now they're following us.
Yeah.
If you're doing shit right, it's a great thing, I think. You're hitting a different market. Google Plus and LinkedIn go hand in hand. People on LinkedIn, I think, all have a Google Plus account, and people on Google Plus have a strong upper income, upper job positions, and it's posted in LinkedIn.
You
Facebook,
know,
I hate, but
yeah,
I have
to be
to
honest
be
with you though, Frank, dude, I worry about the shelf life of a lot of these products with Google. You know, some come, some go. I mean, Google Wave, you remember that? That was in. Dude, that was out. That was here. It was gone.
I figured it out, and then they go, yeah, next week it's dead. I'm like,
Remember Google Buzz too, that was around for a bit.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it was really short-lived. It was supposed to be huge, and literally they've come out with half dozen things over the last, 3-4 years that have just vanished. Oh, you know, one day they're gone.
Right.
check out the wiki page of dead Google projects, man. It's huge.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I didn't even know there was a wiki page.
I never even knew, and I was just like, so I don't know. Their biggest thing is them trying to not monetize something long enough to make an impact, you know, to pull things away from Facebook. Facebook and Google are not friends. They won't be. They don't play well together.
Not at all.
You know, they've come out and said, we're not going to support this. We're not going to help each other. So I don't know. Is anybody going to put a dent? Is Facebook going away? I don't think so. They said, well, the kids are leaving, so the adults are there. Well, great. Let the kids leave. You know, now you definitely have a market to market to. You've got your buyers. So Google Plus, I don't think it's going to be able to be monetized in a way that you can throw up an ad. Right. We monetize by sponsorship. You know. Mm-hmm. By the way, this week's sponsor is Diet Mug.
I've got a sponsor. It's Get Shit Done.
I love it.
That's a cool cup.
I saw one that my uncle put on there. It said, "I'm drinking coffee," and when you tipped it, it said it had a big middle finger. It said, "This is still the first cup."
Yes.
Damn. I need that.
Yeah.
No. So you know, Google with that, and they're making updates. More frequently, they're not announcing them. They're definitely, like they said they were going to do at the end of last year, they're going to roll them out, and they're not telling you. And I think that may be one of the problems with Matt Cutts. Yeah. Because if they're not talking to us in the SEO field, what's Matt Cutts doing except sitting at a desk?
Right. Yeah, where's he been lately? I haven't heard much from Matt.
I think his wife killed him. No, he's been flying around. He's on sabbatical.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he was on like a several-month leave, or something like that.
He was on 3 months, and then he announced he was extending it another couple of months. I think it's negotiations. He probably has 7 years worth of vacation time built up because the guy, he was part of the startups and everything.
Yeah, I thought he was fully animatronic there for a little while.
Yeah.
I thought he was gone from the earth until I just saw a picture of a kid at an airport who snapped a selfie with him. So I was like, oh, okay, so he's still alive. All right.
That explains my sustained rankings. Yes. Okay.
Matt's been out of the picture.
Yeah, Matt. Their team's funny. So I mean, there's not a whole lot other than a couple of these little properties. We're reading up with the SimEasy guys. We're all doing some Google patent reading. It's
Okay,
nice light reading for the dinner table.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna say, yeah, keep it easy, huh?
I let the brainiacs. I just go, hey, did you see this? And they go, yeah, that's on page 37 of. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. I've had those conversations too, and I bow out. You know, I'm like, hey, listen, I've got over 400 websites that I take that data and I implement that. I try not to read the the patents and white papers.
I look at the pretty pictures of the lines going up and down, and
Yeah,
I go,
I like graphs. I'm a big fan of graphs. You know,
pie charts are really easy until they start doing slivers, and I'm like, hey, if you can't see the wedge, it don't need to be on there.
Does it go up or does it go down? You know.
Oh, well, let's get. Oh, okay, guys, you all found the question box. Hey, Barry Hart, nice to see you. So Brian, on now I'm trying to think. Probably that side.
Yeah.
If you hover your thing, there's a little tab called Q&A.
I got it.
And if you do that, then you open up and you can see who's doing what, and we kind of go with the flow. If we see something cool, we can pull it up. If not, fuck it. These guys.
Yeah, no, I like this, man. Good
Let's see, Greg's here again. Thank you, Greg. Could not get the show to work on Chrome for some reason. Had to go to Firefox. There's a big question mark with Chrome. I've been using it since it rolled out, and I'm starting to hate it. As a matter of fact, I have let me see if I can do a quick screenshot here, and I'll show you. Nope. Oh, you would like to share. Well, that's the problem is I would like to, but I'm not going to be able to.
Well, is it like you and I have been talking where it's got like 12 or 15 processes and they're all like...
Yeah, the process map for it has been ridiculous, and yesterday I have a leak right now that's 722 to 950,000.
Well, let me check mine.
And these are private working sets, so it's just processing the shit out of it. Yeah, if Chrome don't work, jump over to Firefox.
Yep.
Another one is Torch,
Mm-hmm.
the Torch browser, which is Chrome, without all the fluff.
Right.
And you can strip media faster than anything else out there.
Yeah, I'm using
a pro tip for you.
With the Torch, what I like doing is if it's a YouTube video or it's a client video, pretty much any format they have it in, I hit the media download, and I've got the audio file and the video file, the complete video file, but I've got the audio file, and I can shoot that to my my copy or my Dropbox folder, and when I'm in the car, I can just pop it up and listen to it as I'm going. And if it's, a replay of a 2-hour training session or a mastermind, I don't want to sit there and have that damn video playing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate the heads up. Hopefully other people. Ed, hello. How are you?
What up, Ed?
What's up, man?
Greg hates Chrome also. Just burning through these real fast. These are the guys who are always here, and sometimes they want to bust our chops.
Oh, great.
And sometimes they don't. But they all know they can make jokes about my mom and things like that.
Dude, I'm from Jersey. I'm from Jersey, man. It doesn't faze me, all right?
Yeah, well, okay. Andrew and them were over in the Jersey. We fight about Jersey because I'm a Red Wings fan, and they've got the little unable to win a season game or anything. Google's going to stop selling Google Glass. Well, that's funny because I'm putting in an order for mine. Damn it. They're banned in Phoenix and bars, so a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them already have signs up that say, "Take that shit off your face."
What's the reasoning?
Privacy issues.
Oh.
It's private property, and you're filming. And unless you have owner's permit or there are signs up that say, "Hey, you're being filmed right now," you really can't. It's not a public domain like the street. So, I want to wear a T-shirt with them on that says, "Hey, I'm filming you," and just walk around. And I go, "Hey, I've got my legal disclaimer on my shirt, dude."
Just get one of the old school smile. You're on Google Glass,
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, let's get into the meat and taters.
Yeah, man.
Brian, how the hell did you get started in any of this crazy shit, whether it's online or offline, man?
Dude, I started offline. I'm an antique. I don't know how long you guys have been in it. Frank, I think you've been in for a long time, huh?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Byron, how long have you been in?
2007, 2008 is when I started, like, in the infancy of it. 2009, I was like full-fledged career mode. So.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I've been in since about 2002. So
Nice.
that makes me like an antique. I mean, you can see every gray patch here is an algorithm update.
Bam, bam.
Oh, wait a minute. Holy shit.
Oh, Frank, man, you've been through it all.
Dude, you've been through it, man. You've been through it.
Yahoo.
Yeah. No, but I actually started, so if you guys are familiar with Passive and Massive, I focus mostly on pay-per-lead. So that's really kind of my meat and taters, is we sell phone calls. We sell leads. So it's local lead aggregation, which I think is absolutely genius. Nobody really adopts it. I found I might be the only guy out there really touting this program. I know Fletch from ONG had a bit of a segment on that. I know Becker's touched on it. But I don't know anyone really out there that's doing it day to day, really kicking ass, or at least preaching it online. So I started offline, in fact, in 2002. I was door knocking in Scottsdale, Arizona, right? Dude,
Nice.
Frank, you can attest to this, right? It was 121 degrees, middle of the summer. I'm going door to door, sweating balls, right? And asking people if they need anything fixed on their car. I'm a car guy. I'm a car junkie, actually. So do you need window tint? Do you need a dent removed? Do you need your windshield replaced? Do you need, your tires rotated? What do you need? And if anybody said yes, right? It's a nice retirement community in Scottsdale. So if any of these old farts said yes, I'd say great. I had a prearranged partnership, and they would fly out mobile to their house and get that deal done for them, whether it was a dent removed or if it was like window tint or something along those lines. And I'd get paid for that lead. And that was 2000 I got into that. About 2002, I said, whoa, wait a minute, what's these interwebs here? What's the internet's about? And within 3 months, by that time I was 22 and I had built up a team of over 20 salespeople. So by the time, about 3 months in learning SEO in 2002, I was able to pretty much liquidate my entire sales team, which was great because it's kind of like, fielding an entire team of door-to-door salespeople is like kind of like herding cats in a way. If you've ever tried to herd cats, it's almost impossible.
They're crybabies. I used to call them bitches. I jumped out of vans and sold soap and vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, man,
So I know about the whole 18 guys in a van pulling into a neighborhood and the police went, oh crap, here we go.
Yep. Yeah. And typically they're street level hustlers. I caught some of my guys like shooting needles in between their toes and shit. I've got nightmares, but nightmare stories. Anyway, long story short, I hopped online in 2002. And, dude, I was within 2 to 3 months, I was able to liquidate that team. I had tripled my revenue, and it was so easy back then. You could literally keyword optimize the title in a Craigslist ad and be ranked on the first page. It was unbelievable, So I was dominating the entire first page in Phoenix. I was the first guy to do videos in Phoenix. I was the first guy to do, any kind of link wheeling back in the day. And if you remember what link wheels are.
Yeah.
And I really, really attached myself to those link wheels and Howie Schwartz and Lioness and, and I was just kicking ass, dude. And so I had, literally, I'll show you some screenshots sometime. I had not the first page dominated, I had the first 3 pages dominated on Google. So if somebody needed an auto repair related, service, they found me. And it was just
no matter what.
Right. It was me and my girlfriend answering the phone at the time.
Your competitor just told me $500.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Exactly.
we're 520.
Yeah, it would go up every single time they'd call back. We passed the phone back and forth. They go, okay, here's that person. Long story
That's the
short,
best.
I was kicking butt, and I was like, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, this probably can scale to other cities. Holy shit, right? It only took me 2 years to figure that out, and so by about 2004, I expanded to 19 cities on the West Coast, and was pretty much replicating that process, doing really, really well, making ungodly amounts of money. And my competition got really pissed off. I was having lawsuit threats. I mean, they threatened to sue me for Google monopolization.
Oh boy.
Wow.
You know. Anyway, so I got past that, and I think they kind of put me into the mentality that if you can't beat them, join them. Right. So they asked me to do their SEO for them. In right around 2008, I started saying yes. And since then, I launched a client SEO-based business. It's called WebRev Marketing, and we are approaching right around 50 clients now. And we try to target the high end. So I'm doing both. I really see both sides of that coin. I see pay-per-lead, and I see the client SEO side of the business. And, dude, if I have to weigh in on one side or the other, pay-per-lead all day and night. All day and night.
Hey, you don't have so many people whining and bitching, and, there's an expectation. I think you can set a level of expectation easier.
Right.
Your SEO guy, the first thing he's saying is page one. That's what you do for me. I'm getting on page one. Why am I not there yet? And you're like, dude, we just signed the contract last night.
Just about the only other guy out there I know doing the same thing as I'm doing, which is a successful client SEO business and pay-per-lead, is Darren Perky, who's on here now. And he just asked us, who's your daddy and what does he do?
What's up, Darren?
My man.
It's always good to see people we know.
So I got a question for you on that. So you've got SEO clients and the pay-per-lead. What would you say is like a bigger revenue stream for your business as far as, it's easier to lock down more revenue per client?
Right. So that's a great question, Byron. I get that a lot. So since I launched Passive and Massive, I've been doing a lot of coaching as well. So I've had a lot of students reach out and ask for coaching, which is great. It's really fun to see the students take off and start to get out there. And I only coach pay-per-lead. So I could coach client SEO, but pay-per-lead is so much more profitable. I mean, what's the average client SEO going to pay? An SEO client, what are they going to pay? Right around $1,500 to $2,500?
$1,500. Some people's average never gets over about $1,000, $1,200. So yeah.
And I can't blame them. If it's just you and you're working out of your office and you want to outsource and that's okay. That's cool. A lot of people, and I'm not talking shit on client SEO. I love it. I've done it for a long time. In my opinion, though, if you can rank and you can build leads and then sell those phone calls, it's incredibly passive. You just track the phone calls, build the phone calls. Also, in a lot of industries, we're charging $500, $750. I know some industries where you can get $2,500 a phone call.
Yeah.
At very minimum, I tell my students, listen, you're going to get $75 to $100 a phone call. Don't go below that. Don't pick an industry where you go below that. And so how many phone calls will it take for you to aggregate $1,000 a month, $2,500 a month? It's only 25 phone calls. And that's not that many. You know what I mean? I run my students through this, and a lot of my students come to me, and they have a client SEO business. And I said, okay, well, are you tracking leads for your client? And they'll tell me, yeah, absolutely. We sent 40 leads, 40 phone calls last week. And I'll do the math, and I'll say, let's say that was $100 a call, which is shooting low for your industry. That would be $4,000 you would have made last week. That's $16,000 a month. I don't know many client SEO or SEO clients paying $16,000 a month.
Not for the local guy.
Not even close. I mean, you could go national, but can I tell you what a huge pain in the ass national SEO clients are? You're not dealing with the owner, first of all. You're dealing with a middle manager that is a marketing MBA, probably out of college for 2 or 3 years, right? And combined between us, I think we've got 30 years SEO.
At least, yeah.
Just on this call alone.
Yeah, this is what I hear from those guys. They say, well, I know SEO, but we just don't have the time, and I'm going to hire it out to you. Whenever I work with like a national firm. Mm-hmm. So they kind of think that they already know it, so every move you make, a lot of the times they're like, oh, well, I wouldn't have done that. It's like, did you hire me, or are you going to do it?
Yeah, you get micromanaged. And that's a pain in the ass. Also, I don't want to be too crass here, but I don't like
be crass. Be crass, man. We opened one show with blowjobs, so.
I mean, here's the thing, dude. I don't like being anyone's bitch. You know, for lack of a better term, client SEO, you have a boss. Look, I love my clients that I have right now. If you guys are watching this, you know what I'm saying? But but honestly, you have a boss, and you're working for somebody when you're in client SEO. You know, I'm lucky enough to have built a fantastic staff and a team and have an office and all that good stuff. So it's not as much work as it used to be. But if you're a one-man band or one or two people working out of your office, it's a lot of work, and you definitely have a boss in the shape of a client, right? So you're just trading one boss for another. In pay-per-lead, you become the third or the fourth leg on that table. If you're good and you're sending leads, right, you become the lifeblood of an organization. You know, I've had partnerships in pay-per-lead that go on 10 years. I talk to them once a year. They pay me every 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
That's a beautiful relationship. You know, and they don't want to get rid of me because if they kick out the leg of the table, what happens? You know?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, so I would imagine, I mean, a lot of companies get approached for SEO now. They're kind of used to it. I mean, do you see that it's an easier, I guess, do you see less of an entry barrier on the pay-per-lead basis than like client SEO? I mean, do they accept it more, or are they apprehensive, or?
Right. So it's really a no-risk opportunity for anyone interested in client SEO. I'm sorry, in pay-per-lead. You know, I mean, you don't pay us unless we produce a valid, valuable lead for your business. It has to be a qualified lead before we even charge you, before we charge a credit card. We don't charge for phone calls that are under 30 seconds. And if ever you get an obnoxious telemarketer that keeps you on the line for 2 minutes, they just jot down the time of the day. We go back, we listen to the recording, and we take it off, and we never bill for it. So it really becomes a zero-risk opportunity for all of our partners in the pay-per-lead business. So the sale's easy.
That's awesome.
You said something that I wish I would have heard from you 3 years ago. Because I went after low-hanging fruit, easy to go in, easy to rank sites, easy industry, and then I'm going to go out there and I ended up getting into like auto detailing.
Yeah.
I was banging it. People calling, but they're calling doing price hunts.
Mm-hmm.
So the calls are short. And then the guys are like, I pay low, I'll give you $5 a call. I'll give you and it's just like, oh man, are you kidding me? And it's very, up and down. So there's not a consistent desire for it. I mean, a guy in Glendale's going to get his car done. Scottsdale's going to get his car done. But south of Phoenix,
right.
Why the hell are you ranked number one? You get one call a month. It's accidental.
Yeah. I can, if you guys want, I can quickly run you through an equation to determine how much I think we can charge per call in any industry.
Yeah, I'd love that.
That'd be, man. Now all of a sudden people are going to be like, what?
Yeah. So it's real simple, right? And it's actually a little generous to the partner that you're trying to secure. I like to go based off of, suggested bid or cost per click, right? So I just use good old keyword planner, and we'll put in some keywords. So recently I did some mesothelioma key terms, right? Because I just took on a student, right? Shout out to my student that is in the meso industry. I had no idea. I knew it was expensive, but some of these key terms are upwards of $1,000 per click.
Yep.
$1,000 a click. And when I took on this student, he told me that he had roughly about 100 visitors a month for mesothelioma key terms.
Oh my God!
It's like
holy
shit.
Two.
So here's the equation. Let's just use $1,000 a click, which is way out of the water here. Nobody really gets that much except for that industry. But at $1,000 a click, right, we give a very high conversion rate estimation at 10% to our potential partners, right? So per lead, they're paying $10,000 per lead in that industry. That's not a closed case. That's not a done deal. That's a lead. A phone call, an email submit, something along those lines, right? So at $10,000 a lead, what do you think you can charge per call? Typically, I tell my students to come in at a 25% discount. So that would work out to $7,500 a call.
That's a
Whoa.
beast.
That's higher than most SEO clients you'd ever get.
Dude, that's one call.
Yeah.
That's one call. So let's make it a little bit more realistic, because there's probably some people out there going, bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
So another student of mine is in mold remediation. So do you guys know what that is?
Excellent amount of money.
Right. That's if your house gets flooded and you get black mold on your wall, it'll kill you, apparently.
Yep.
Gives you cancer. Right? Anything that gives you cancer is expensive, apparently. So, we determined that he could charge roughly, going through that equation, he could charge roughly about $500 a call on that, which is, and he has partners that are agreeing to pay for it, all day long. So there's something that I like to do, and I may be giving away a little bit too much here, but I don't care. There's something I like to do on my sites. I like to position my pay-per-lead sites as almost like review sites. So each homepage has 3 to 5 different partnerships we've established right there on the homepage. Right? So we've got the benefits, and each one of those listings, we've got our own tracking phone number on. So it's not their phone number, it's our tracking number. Now typically, when it's a really expensive procedure like mold remediation, nobody swings at the first pitch, right? They're going to go find the first mold remediator, right? Call, get a price, go click the back button, go back to Google, click the second listing, call, get a price, and on and on. So we just position it almost like a review site where we'll put them right next to each other so people can compare. This isn't brand new. People have been doing this for a long time. I've just never seen it hybridized with pay-per-lead, right? So we're positioned. That's what I call my lead multiplier. So we position ourselves as a review site, and then what happens is one conversion doesn't turn into one phone call. One conversion, on average, when you're listing 5 different partnerships that you've established, 5 different companies that the customer could choose from, one phone call turns into, on average, 3 phone calls. So at $500 a call, now my student is, for one conversion, making, on average, $1,500 a call. Right?
That is awesome. Ridiculous.
I mean, even at numbers that are like $50 a call, $30 a call, which sounds like it's on the really lower end of this stuff, you're still making more or almost the same amount as SEO, but it seems a lot easier. I mean, I know it's going to be a lot easier as far as, you're not having them nag you on rankings. It's just performance basis. If you can get the leads coming in, you get paid, and they get client, the business you're working with, they get leads, they get business for themselves. So
yeah, and that student now is averaging about 3 conversions a day, which turns into about 9 phone calls at $500. So.
Whoa. That's I fell into a situation. I was doing the old scrappy, open the either Craigslist or the newspaper and looking for call centers or business, because they always say landscaper looking for phone help,
right?
Which means we're a call center and we've got a landscaper that hired us.
Mm-hmm.
And I called up and I said, look, let me do this. Let me get phone calls and process them for you, and I never come into the office.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, how do we pay you? And I said, well, you pay when that person buys because you already have the relationship. I'm just going to send you the already done guy who wants to, now buy.
Right.
And I will tell you, people were so freaking confused. And I'm like, look, I'm doing what you're doing. Right. I'm just setting up a property. I don't have to answer anybody's phone call. You're like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, how do you get people to know that thing? Oh, they take care of the ad. I said, oh, so what's the name of the guy? And one accidentally told me. He's like, oh, well, his name's Joe. And, and I'm like, oh, I know that. Isn't that, George's Landscaping? Yeah. No, that's, Byron's Landscaping. I go, oh, okay. I called Byron's Landscaping up, and I said, I will double what that call center's doing clicking out.
Right.
I will only send you the people that are worth even listening to, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, I'm paying them, the contract, and I was like, well, if you're willing to bump up because these are going to be, I'm going to weed out all the shit for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, all right, let's give it a try. You know, he became a major pain in my ass because then he's calling up going, well, it's the slow season. I'm like, well, yeah, but we're also in Phoenix in winter. You know, people aren't really all hype about their landscaping right now. So you're going to have a slow time. That doesn't mean you get more phone calls.
Yeah. I mean, there's really three models in the pay-per-lead business, at least in my opinion. It's the rent-a-serp, right? If you guys remember the whole debacle with the rent-a-serp stuff, where you essentially just iframe a site and and they're paying you per month for that asset. Do you do that?
I still have them.
Yeah,
I have
for you, man.
I have a 400,000 page site that's got an overlay.
So you're Surf Shaker with an iframe. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. There's of course the rent-a-serp. Then you've got the pay-per-call, which is my personal favorite. Right, pay-per-call is very passive. It's a nice in between the profit and then the passiveness of that model. And then what you were just talking about, Frank, is closed and sold. Right, so where you take the calls, you only sell leads when they're done. Right. I did closed and sold for a long time, but it's not very passive. That requires a call center. That requires a lot of effort.
You're on it.
And my whole thing is, I want to create the most amount of money with the least amount of work because I'm inherently lazy. I'm just lazy.
I think we all are. We're online.
And luckily, it was like, man, my parents growing up and my teachers are like, man, you're real smart, but you're fucking lazy. Jesus, it's like put this to work, and I'm like, no, man, I'm gonna find the easiest way between A and B and make some money out of that. So
I've told people, you call me, when I ran a roofing company in Columbus, Ohio, and they called me Microsoft because I was the office guy. I handled the payroll, the marketing, all that stuff. They got on the roof and busted their ass and got hurt. And they were always calling me Microsoft. And I said, I may be lazy in the sense of you get up on the roof and you're, lumberjacking and everything. I said, but if I quit being lazy, you guys don't get any jobs. I'm working brain-wise 50 times harder and longer than you guys are. You're just doing it physically, right. And I'm not going to do it. And, we built it up and we sold the company, and I said, I'll never roof again in my life. I don't want anything to do with that industry.
Yeah.
But we were doing exactly the call leads, the everything else. I just didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was just a kid going, hey, I got this idea. This online shit really works.
It's not knowledge working, right? Knowledge.
Yep. So you're awesome, man. I mean, that's nuts.
The nicest part of this whole pay-per-lead thing too is that you control your asset. It's when you're working for a client, you very rarely control that asset. So if they pull the plug on you, then I just got off a phone call this morning where I've been working with a penalized website. It's an attorney that's paying us $5,000 a month. We got him out of the penalty. He's now, I believe, on the second page or the top of the third page, and they want to pull the plug and hire somebody else. This guy's going to look like a hero based on all of the work we did over the past 9 months to get them out of this massive Google slap penalty, right?
Yep.
That's the type of shit you put up with client SEO. Now, if they pull the plug on me, what do I own there? My work is essentially gone. I've just rented a property and sold, and it's evaporated. In pay-per-lead, when you build your site, you own that asset. You own those rankings. You can flip it. We've had students that have flipped for $80,000, $16,000 here, a lot more in some cases. I'm a big fan of controlling all your assets.
Absolutely, it's the smartest thing. I was just talking with Anthony Aries last night, and talking about I wanted to get to a point where I build my business, it's self-sustained, and I can turn around and exit.
Yeah.
And if I want, build another.
Yeah.
Do the same thing, and then and I don't have to have. I mean, Byron and I are doing sales leads as a new part of our business.
Oh, it's awesome. Nice.
Yeah, it's a great thing. We're not going after so much the client.
Right.
We're hitting the agencies that are going out and beating the street and doing that, and got some internet marketers who are buying SEO, and web design leads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, once we're done, we own the process.
Right.
We don't own.
Yeah.
Past that.
You don't own that asset, and think of it like, I don't know if you guys do any investing. It's very akin to real estate investing. It's very akin to any investing in the market. It's all about asset allocation, right? And building that portfolio, and you can build that portfolio of pay-per-lead sites. You've kind of got two options there. When I first got into pay-per-lead, I built out a site per city, which, by the way, is a nightmare, right? So I've got, in one of my verticals, I've got over 147 different sites. Right? I was lucky enough to team up with a national brand that made a professional recommendation to all 900 of their franchises.
Wow.
That was cool. That really helped out. But it's a pain in the ass. You pay a lot in hosting. You really have to, and you can't host everything on the same host. You've got to really. I had to go through that whole thing. Big pain in the butt. That's one way to go after it. There's another way to go after it where you can build a site very much like a home advisor. Right, and you can have a real, true authority site. Just pros and cons to each strategy there. I mean, if a couple of my sites get hit on the side where I own a bunch, that doesn't hurt me so much. But if my authority sites get hit, that really hurts me.
Right.
So it's really kind of a combined strategy. I think that having one authority site, in terms of an asset and an exit strategy, that's your most valuable asset. Right, having 147 sites is not. I mean, you could liquidate them, but it would take time. It would take a lot of effort. You probably want to hire a broker to help you do that, and then pay them the 30% or whatever. So, I'm a much bigger fan at this point of building one huge asset and controlling that. So that's what we're working on now.
That is crazy, and I know the real estate in Chicago, and looking at the pictures during your webinar, which I suggest get over to the Passive Massive group. Put in your name. Say you saw the SEO show. Beg to get in. There's a lot of cool questions. There's a bunch of great answers, and literally, you're doing what, about one a week, one every 2 week of a webinar or Q&A?
Yeah, we're doing a webinar a week. We try to do them on Fridays. I think people are really just chilled out on Fridays. everyone's either gotten paid or looking forward to that first beer of the night, or you know what I'm saying?
Or a couple in and say, hey, I'm going to sit here in Facebook and turn you on.
I mean, some people are like, I'm looking forward to soaking up a little bit. That was my
a couple of them on
impression with my French press.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with a nice little.
But people are just on Fridays, man. They're much happier. So we like to do Friday webinars. And
yeah, that's cool.
Are you're not sitting there preaching, which is what I like. You're like us. You're laid back. You're chilled. This is just the way it is. This is my theory. This is what I do. This is how it's done. This is my income. Hey, take it or leave it. You're not trying to say, hey, I'm strangling you. And you listen to me. I'm the king of all this. And
yeah, no.
So that's Ed's got a question. Ed Stapleton. He says, hey Brian, do you ever work deals with a down payment for a draw to pay to build out the property and then pay that back via calls until break even?
I find that when you're trying to establish a partnership, good question, Ed, but when you're trying to establish a partnership, I like to think of those as a long-term evergreen play. Right? You want to have those things kind of like I have had and have now for 10 years and ongoing. That cash cow just keeps on giving. It really, really does. It's like your golden goose. And so to start a relationship, they say first impressions last, and it's true. So when you start a relationship, I like to make it as simple and clean as possible. I can explain this business model from the first floor to the 5th floor on an elevator ride. And I think that's where the real genius comes in. I'm a big fan of the Beatles, and their songs are only 4 chords, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the biggest band ever, dude. And it's got to be simple. And so for me to say, hey, listen, Mr. Potential Partner, Plumber, Roofer, mesothelioma, drug and addiction rehab, whatever, right? For you to work with me, you're going to have to pay me first. Then I'm going to maybe get this site ranked. Then I'm going to sell you phone calls back to you. And that gets very convoluted. It's not very simple. I like to keep it simple, stupid. And hey, listen, I've got phone calls in your area. Who can I talk to about taking on these new customers? That's it. That's my pitch.
Nice.
That is such a clean transition. So you don't. I mean, with that, you don't even have to tell them I'm ranked number 1 or You're just like, hey, look, I've got phone calls.
Right. Well, typically what I'll do is I'll say the name of the site that I'm with, right? So if let's say we were going after plumbing, right? You'd say maybe name the site, San Francisco Plumbing, whatever. When you call a potential partner, you say, hey, my name's Brian. I'm with San Francisco Plumbing. I've got overflow work in your area. Who can I talk to about taking on my customers? That's my pitch. That's it. That's the whole thing, man.
I can just imagine them. They're like, well, we never get calls like this, you know?
Right. You've done a couple of things there. You've leveled the playing field, right? Because now you're not a salesperson. You're not a customer. You're a peer. I'm with San Francisco Plumbing. I'm your peer. Okay, so that's how you get past the gatekeeper. And then part 2 is I've got overflow work in your area. Who can I talk to about taking on these new customers? That's it.
Let me get you over to the manager.
Yeah.
The owner needs you.
Yeah.
That is so funny because I had a plumbing site and the guy stiffed me, and I said, "Listen, man, you got to pay by Friday." And he's like, well, I don't think I do. You're just, who's going to take these calls?
Mm-hmm.
So I shut it off, and I directed it to my phone. Now, I knew that I wasn't getting pounded with these calls. They're coming in typically. The only problem was I started getting Friday, Saturday, Sunday night calls.
Yeah.
Because I named it 24-hour plumber.
Emergency plumbing.
Yes. I'm answering the phone, and they're like, my pipes burst. I need somebody now. And I'm like, okay, let me get your name and address and your phone number. And I'm getting on Craigslist, literally calling whoever the hell is listed in the plumbing section going, this is going to sound weird. But I've got this person calling me, and I'm not a plumber.
Yeah.
Do you want the job?
That's going back to the closed and sold model. And
exactly.
Taking your own phone calls is a pain in the butt. You know what I do is, this is something I haven't shared before, but with a local, service-based business in the pay-per-lead industry. They'll work Saturdays, they don't work Sundays, and they don't work nights a lot of the time. So I will have kind of a candid conversation with the owner and try to talk them into taking on a call service. And then I'll recommend a few really good call services. And that way I get paid every time a call comes in. Whether it's, 10% of the calls come in after hours, it's still 10% of the money. And Darren just mentioned here in the comments that he's got a hip replacement lawyer, right, and he gets $4,000 a lead. He only gets 1 or 2 a month, but that's worth it. So that's $8,000 a month from one website, right? What if one of those calls came in at 1 o'clock because Grandma fell down trying to go to the bathroom, at night? Then you're missing $4,000.
Yeah.
So I think it's a smart thing to go and hire from both ends. It's a win-win, really, and I found that if you want to make a long-term relationship, everything needs to be win-win, really. They win because they're paying less for leads. You win because you're getting paid for the lead.
Yeah, I think anything in business, as soon as it's not win-win, somebody's going to get pissed off in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Eventually, somebody's just going to feel violated. So, it's like, let's set it up even keel. Your pitch is probably the cleanest, most effective pitch and closed because there's no argument.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing but here they are. If you want them, cool. If not, I got to call somebody else. You
know what you do? You make a list of 30 or 40 plumbers, right? And when you're staring at that list, it's confidence instilling. A lot of what typically when I take on a new student, it's one of 2 things. It's they're nervous to get on the phone, and they're really good at SEO, or they don't know anything about SEO and they're nervous to get on the phone, or they're good on the phone. So I kind of have to coach them one way or the other. And typically, the people that are nervous to get on the phone, I say make a list. When you're staring at 30 or 40 different potential partnerships, it's really confidence instilling. You go, hey, dude, you don't want my shit? Okay, I'm moving on to the next guy. Thank you and goodbye. You only have to close 5 out of 40 or 50. That's the 10% conversion. 20% conversion.
And those are the numbers that we were just talking about last week. We're like, 20% close rate, man. You're making bank.
Yeah. It's not complicated, and like I said, man, I can explain this from the first floor to the 5th floor in an elevator. Yeah. It's really just about getting out there and doing it and taking action. And I think that's really what it is.
Well, hey, I got a meeting in 30 minutes, and I want you guys to continue. No, I'm serious.
Whatever.
And I'll text you about it. But Frank, keep going.
Okay. No, go do your thing. I can't believe we've already gone an hour. This is incredible. This is awesome.
I just looked at the time, not to be like a shutdown.
I'm glad you did, because I'm all entranced here. I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go away. You're fired.
Hey, Byron. Nice, man. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Here's a quick. Do you have a couple more minutes, Brian, or do you need to jump?
Until let me see. Real quick. I'm good here until about 11:30. So I got a half an hour.
Okay, cool. We'll go about 15 more, and then I'm going to jump into the middle right here. And honestly, get over to Passive Massive, hook up with them, get signed up to the webinars. I love the emails. The emails are not invasive. I don't feel dirty when I see your email come through, which is funny because I'm like, I got one this morning. I made $58 million, 35 minutes on a Sunday in bed.
Nice.
And I'm like, I'm pissed now because, it should come up. So I clicked it, and the first sentence that the guy said is, now, you didn't really think that title was real, I hope. And I was like, okay, all right, you got me. I wanted to see this bullshit. What WSO do you have to sell? But
right.
It was cool. But yours comes through and go, hey, here's an idea. Here's the thing. We're going to talk about it Friday. Mm-hmm. Here's the link. Hey, did you miss this? And it's just really just reminders, little pokes, nothing bad. So get over there, guys. Sign up for them, and you guys all know that. I'm known for calling bullshit when I see it. Brian and I have talked. I've followed him before we even talked about anything else. We reached out to each other. We said, hey, let's try this. And, I didn't expect, one, a close. Two, if you go back about 10 minutes, he rattled off some really cool niches to take a look at, and I will say that if you go look at the keyword planner, these are huge fucking numbers. I know you all just popped open a window for the Meso or the Meso, and I will tell you this: if you see a commercial on TV 52 times about coal miner lung and everything else, these guys are doing a class action lawsuit for billions of dollars. So it's not shit when you're talking a few $1,000 for a phone call. But get over there and do what you got to do to get inside. Beg, borrow, steal. Tell your wife to go shopping, and then click in for a request. Let's see here, Darren. Man, I am so glad that your guys are they're already saying that it's P&M's awesome. When I move to an area, I build one massive site first, and then build microsites behind it. If a metro area has 20 cities, I'll build a massive site, generally 4 to 5 by the area, 1 north, south, east, west, generally 1 for higher end area. I've noticed that all your guys aren't going for the low-hanging fruit or, the more of a pain in the ass industries.
Right. I actually did a Webby. If you guys want to check it out, go Google. Go to YouTube and check out our Passive and Massive channel.
And subscribe, because I did two times this morning.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. That's cool. I launched this with no agenda in mind, and I launched the Facebook group Passive and Massive with no agenda, and I just started doing webinars to have fun, and sometimes as an internet marketer, you kind of feel like you're you've been in your office for too damn long, you haven't talked to anybody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited about Vegas just to get the hell out of the office.
And I launched this thing, dude, and I did not expect it to blow up the way it did. And it's just, we're at like almost 2,000 members in the group, and my email list has just exploded. And I've had signups on my YouTube that I didn't even expect. We're at like 200, 300 subscribers there. It's like, people love this business model, man. And if you go over to that, anyway, so that's kind of a rant. But if you go over to the YouTube channel, you'll check it out. And I did a webinar, and it's called My 7 Favorite Pay-Per-Lead Verticals. So I actually literally just gave them away. I'm like, dude, these are super profitable. You can take them down city by city, you know. And there's not enough people out there doing pay-per-lead to the point where I feel like I'll ever have competition. You know, it's so vast, and you can go after so many different industries and cities and what have you, that it's literally wide open right now. And Frank, let me ask you a question, man. I ask everybody this. You ready?
Okay.
All right, dude. All right, here it is. If enough people were doing pay-per-lead, right? If you're selling discounted leads at no risk to partners that you've established, do you think local client SEO would exist?
No. It'll exist for me because I'm building up the asset, but I don't think there's going to be a shitload of people able to knock on the door and say, I'm going to fix your site, because the owner's going, well, I've got overflow of phone calls coming in. I don't have time to fix my site.
I mean, I love client SEO, and I built a really great business with it, you know, and it keeps my lights on, and it affords me a nice lifestyle, and, you know, shit like that. But pay-per-lead is my baby, and I know what we do in client SEO. We say, hey, listen, Mr. Client, give me $2,500 a month. Give me $5,000 a month. Give me $1,000 a month, and you might get ranked on the first page of Google. Maybe you'll get a couple of phone calls here and there, you know, but it's a risk. You're taking a calculated risk here. I can't guarantee it.
Huge 4.5 straight years of video marketing and SEO. I help train. I have students. My group, my Facebook group, Profit with Hangouts, has got 1,500 people in it, you know, and all this stuff. my biggest pain in the ass, and I tell everybody, and I'm happy to say it, I hate my phone. I hate calls. I hate babysitting. I don't want to deal with clients, but I had to go in and do it. You know, and you know, the argument of, okay, I've got a video on page 1. Now what? You know, oh, well, you're going to get more calls. Well, how many calls am I going to get? I don't know. You know, it's yeah, what metric? You know, I can tell them. I'll know exactly how many because I was doing the leads on video. So I've got my call tracking and I've got all that, and you know, and we're monitoring, and you know, it's more of a not just a video on there, but I'm getting them out to the commercials. So we're doing production and we're doing all this stuff, and you know, and then I'm finding myself I've got to work this whole thing. You know, I'm flying in a crew. We got to have people there. Oh, now the owner's out. Yeah. You know, what the hell? Now I got to tell these guys, you got to spend another day. And they're like, well, we need money. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
For what? And then I've got Joe Blow calling him up going, I can make you a video for $97. And I'm like, what? No, you can't. I'm doing $3,500 deals, and you're doing $97. You're killing me.
And everyone's undercutting everybody in the SEO industry right now. And you know, even in my passive and massive group, I've got people that you know that are asking questions that are level 101 SEO questions, like how many PBN links do I need to rank my site?
Yeah.
You know? And that's a very basic question, and even more basic question sometimes, like, where do I host my PBN?
Yep.
Things like that. And they've already got 6 or 7 clients. You know, so that's scary, man. I think that there's just an influx of people to the client SEO side of things. And it, you know, I'm not going to name names, but there's people out, gurus out there, saying, hey, listen, you don't need to know how to do SEO to get clients. And that's completely theft.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, what is your theory on that? I don't know SEO, but I sell it.
Mm-hmm.
I can come and look for somebody to outsource, or I can learn it, and this and that. But you just said theft.
If you're doing it yourself. Now, if you've got a partner that's excellent, or you found a really good team to do your SEO, more power to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, and at that point you don't have to fucking worry about it, but
right.
SEO then.
Right.
Somehow you're connected. But if you don't know anything, such as where do I do my hosting?
Right.
Do I use the reseller package? Should I put them on HostGator or BlueLiquidIce.com or
right.
GoDaddy, Nightbuild or whatever? Stay away from GoDaddy's hosting, please, God. I agree. I think that's theft. You either are stealing their money or you're bold-faced lying to them, and when you fail, you're setting yourself up for a lot of legal bullshit. And stay away from it. Build a site, learn the SEO, and then go sell it.
Right.
Part-time. Do it while you're working at McDonald's, man. You can do SEO in the middle of the night.
Or you can do yourself one better. You can learn pay-per-lead. Hey.
Oh, exactly. And here's the thing: is if you've got because you're putting out so much information in your group and in your webinars. You said you have coaching available. How would I? Shoot you an email.
Yeah, I've actually right now I've stopped accepting students.
See, shit.
Except for you, Frank, man. You're in there, man. You're in there like swimwear, brother.
Don't want this fat man in swimwear, I'm telling you. I am 30 yards away from a hot tub and an Olympic-sized pool, and I have not been there in 3 years.
Is that why they called you Microsoft?
The porn industry kicked me out, so.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird. I was a fat kid. They used to call me Macrosoft. Anyway,
I don't fisheye any of my pictures, man. Bloat don't look good all distorted.
I love the stuff you post, man. You keep me cracking up.
Oh, thanks.
But I haven't announced it yet. I'll kind of make it first announcement here. I will be launching a course here, a product, probably mid to end February, and it'll be all about pay-per-lead. It's my exact processes, and it'll probably be a 6 or an 8 week intensive. I'll do probably a 7 or 10 day launch, and we'll get, I don't know how many people are interested in this, but by the turnout on Passive and Massive thus far, and how many people are, asking me questions on a daily basis, it seems like there's a lot of interest here, and it seems like the market is primed and wide open for something like this. So I'm happy to fill that gap and help as many people out as I can. You've been on the webinars before. I give it all away, man. I'm not holding anything back here.
You do. Here's something that I know. Besides, how many backlinks should my site get? Which is one more to make you number one, but then don't add anymore. Why? Software. All of these phone numbers, everything like that. You're going to cover that in your thing. I mean, there's people with Twilio to ACT to this to that. The forwarding, and funny thing is, I've got all of it.
Yeah.
I don't follow it. Like you said something about CallFire.
Yeah.
You're a CallFire lover. I am too.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything's right there in the reports and everything, and I like Twilio because it's a fucking number.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to set Twillettes or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And it's like cut and paste. No, that doesn't make sense. It's not coming through. What did I do? And
I'm looking into building a piece of software for pay-per-lead specifically, but right now I recommend CallFire, and in fact I think I'm going to get the owner on a webinar here. I'm in discussions right now, so that they can talk about some of the really cool advanced features and some of the things they're looking to launch. And so hopefully, everyone will make that webinar too. That'll be a fun one.
Oh shit, I'll be on that because I literally, it was just I was going into this back office thing, and I literally I had to go into my cPanel for my site to figure out what my slash to my software was that's on my that's being hosted by me. I'm like, I don't even remember where the hell I put that, you know, and I'm not checking stats or anything.
There's a lot of hurdles, man.
Huh?
There's a lot of hurdles you got to jump through.
Well, and that's, you know, and that's, without having a guide, it was, let's figure this shit out, you know. It's like SEO back in the day.
Yeah.
You buy the 4 dummies, and then you're scouring Google, and you're looking in all these forums, and you've got, you should do this, no, you should do this, and and trying to figure out what the hell it is. If I'm a big believer, when Google Hangouts came out, I was like, here it is. This is it. Click, 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 click. You're done. Yeah. Go make $1 million.
It's really cool. I'm really liking this format. Another thing that I think is important to touch on here is in pay-per-lead, it's not all SEO, right? So, SEO, again, asset allocation, right? We don't put all our eggs in one basket. So, there's lots of ways to drive phone calls. Craigslist still works. You can hire somebody to post on Craigslist 5 times a day, and you'll get 3 phone calls. You don't need a website. All you need is a call-fire phone number and a Craigslist account, and you can start making money like that in pay-per-lead. That's it. So, we go through a lot of different things in our webinars, and in the course we'll cover all that too. But I really like to diversify and make sure that, if we do get Google bitch slapped at some point, that we won't lose all of our revenue.
See, I'd love to see you and David Schloss sit down and talk, because he's PPC. He's that guy that everybody brings in. He's the gunslinger that, it's going to be $5,000 to sit down. I'll run your shit, and you're going to get a response. And it's nice. And we had him on the show, and he was just, here's the ideas, and this is how you would do it, and this is how you integrate there, and it's not that hard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit! Now you've got the, your lead site. You're doing this inexpensive, pay-per-click to get over there. I mean, at $1,000 a call, you could throw 500 at it and still be, okay. You're still way ahead of the game.
I love the mentality that if you're making $1,000, I'll spend up to $999.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I mean, a dollar's a dollar.
Right.
My wife told me we're looking at a house, and she literally turned around and told me, whatever you've got to do, get out there and start doing it, because I need another $10,000 for the down payment. And I'm like, what? She's like, you launch a product, get an affiliate, do something. You got to add some more money.
Go work the corner, Frank.
I'm like, damn, baby. I'm like, she knows the technology. She's got people at work. My husband has this. Oh, is he doing this, and this? No. You need to talk to my husband. Well, what does that do? I have no clue. I just know the words. I'm like, you're going to get my ass in trouble. By the way, Meso is a $30 billion settlement so far. Yeah, I think it's going to be as big, if not bigger, than cigarettes by the time everybody's in it.
Yeah.
I had a great client. I had a client that did the expert witness industry.
Oh wow, interesting.
They've been around for 27 years, and they have the database of all these expert witnesses, and lawyers just flock to them and say, I need to hire somebody.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The kick out for the connection, and it's like, wow. And they're like, we need more faces on our thing. And I'm like, okay. And it was pure SEO, but here was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
When it stopped.
Right.
And it was like, wow, if I would have had control of the experts or, the lawyers calling in, what's that worth to somebody? You're talking a $10,000 to $100,000 accident lawsuit, $1 million car crash.
Yep.
What's that worth for each one of those calls? And I went, oh.
Yeah. I recently launched a site with a friend of mine here in Chicago. He's Mike Gora. I don't know if you know Mike. He launched Domain Auction Sniper.
Okay. Yep.
So about 3 months ago, we both said, "Hey, let's try to launch a legal-related, website here in Chicago, which is, by the way, quite competitive."
Yeah, in a very small area.
Right, and so legal, anything personal injury related. We already have number 1 and 2 rankings for a lot of good key terms within 3 months. So we're kicking some butt on that, and these calls coming in, these settlements can be upwards of $8 million. We just had an attorney settle a personal injury case. It was a dog bite, and it was an $8 million case. He just settled it.
Scarring.
Yeah, I mean, come on. There's so many verticals you can get into in pay-per-lead. I had somebody just kill it in dumpster rental. I mean, who considers dumpster rental? How about rubbish removal? And that brings on a new dynamic to pay-per-lead is you don't have to do this in the States, fellas, right? You can do this anywhere. You can do it in the UK. Ireland is prime right now. Sweden, I've got students doing it. Switzerland, I've got students kicking butt right now. Australia, New Zealand, it goes on and on and on and on.
See, that's everybody always says that in the little the chat box. Does this work in the UK?
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on the UK. I'm just saying, I always say, does it work in the UK or in Denmark? And it's like, do they have phones?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Do you have a phone number? Shit.
Whenever I talk about pay-per-lead, that song from Willy Wonka, so I've got a 5-year-old daughter, and she just got into Willy Wonka, right? And you remember that song in the beginning? I've got the golden ticket. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Every time I talk about pay-per-lead, that song comes into my head because that's what you're holding on to. When you've got a lead, you've got the golden ticket, right? You literally are holding what every business in the world wants, and it works globally.
Well, here's a thought from a different aspect. I was the marketing director in an industry. I'm not going to say it because I'm almost the king of that whole industry now.
I love it.
But we worked, and they had a very convoluted phone system, and it was in a closet. Wires out, it was just this big rat's nest of crap. And one day we're all sitting around, and it was literally like a Thursday or Friday. And it's dead. And everybody's just twiddling their thumbs and walking around doing shit and talking. And somebody's like, are the phones even working? Because there's like no phone calls. And somebody decided to pick up the phone and check. The phones are dead. Somebody had put a shovel or a broom into the closet, and it broke a wire. We look in there. We have no clue what is going on. Yeah. It's an archaic system, so I'm calling the phone company. They're like, everything's cool on our end. I call this guy, and he looks at it, and he goes, you need somebody who knows phones from almost 20 years ago.
Oh, my God.
He's like, you've got to gut this and start new, and the owner is flipping out. He's like, how much? And he's like, to fix this, $50,000, because we're going to be here 24 hours a day for the weekend, and you might be able to get phone calls Tuesday. Killed it. No way. We're diverting phones to a chaser system onto cell phones for the salesman. It's first come, you're taking notes, and it was a horrible nightmare. Now you're positioning you and your students to be that guy in between that phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. And that shit happens to me every now and then. And I'll look at my call. I'll just check in on CallFire. I'll go, wait a minute, I've got no calls today. Shit, I got to refill my account. I missed half the day.
Yeah. Well, that email went into a spam, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. It's just like I said, man, I'm lazy. So.
That's the same way. I think I got a CallFire bill once, and it was like $280, and I'm like, why? Yeah. I had a monstrous. It was like a holiday weekend or something, and it was just burning up the phones, and I'm like, oh shit! Okay, credit card. Sorry, didn't have the auto refill.
We did 6,800 phone calls last month, and I think roughly about 2/3 were qualified leads. Unfortunately, the downside of CallFire is you do get a lot of telemarketing and spam calls and whatnot. But 2/3 of 6,800 ain't bad. So.
No, not at all. Well, let's take this one from Chef or Constantine, Mr. or Mrs. Constantine. I can't see by your picture, so small. Let's see what this question is. It says, what if you're in a country where all these high-end industries you're talking about have low CPC? Highest I can find is around 10 euros. How do you price it then? Say you're sending leads to a plastic surgeon who is paying 2 to 4 euros a click. Any advice on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to field that, or you want me to take that one?
No, you take that, because
Sure.
I'd check those CPCs.
Yeah. Just here's my suggestion there. There's two things you can do. Look, even if it's 10 euro, at a 10% conversion rate, which is high typically, I work with plastic surgeons intimately. That is one of my verticals, actually. I know that on their websites natively, they normally have around a 2 to 5% conversion rate. So you can lower your conversion equation and use a 5% conversion rate. So that's 200 euro per lead. If you come in at 25% of that, you're still making a pretty nice penny, right? That said, you don't have to position yourself in that partnership from that angle. You can also talk to them and ask them, what's your average, procedure run you? Take all your procedures, couple them together, divide by the total, and get the average. And I know, for example, that in plastic surgery, at least here in Chicago, the average procedure is right around $4,500. And that's pretty high. So, you can work backwards from that number. Say, hey, listen, what's a lead worth to you? $300, $500? Qualified.
Well, and here in Phoenix, we have the snowbirds. They're all 55 and older.
Yeah.
So plastic surgeons here are almost double what they are in Chicago.
Yeah.
But you've got dental, and not teeth whitening. That's for the kids. I'm talking, these guys are getting surgeries that are $30,000 a pop.
Yeah.
You've got golf club memberships. You've got, go-karts, little golf carts. We have, Sun City.
Yeah, yeah.
The car drivers have to stay out of the way because they're full of golf carts on the road. It's
Scottsdale, Arizona, man. The plastic surgeons stay in business there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no real downtime here. People fly in.
Yeah.
There are a lot of industries here that are connected to the Canadian border. That come to Phoenix every winter. It's like Florida, except Florida has a different mindset. Here it's I'm coming to hang out. I have a person, I'm in an apartment right below me. They're from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They rented the apartment below us for 6 months.
Yeah.
Because it's
snowbird.
They keep flying back to Wisconsin for the holidays, but they're like, yeah, we come down to golf. That's just what we do. And I'm like, my God, they're like 45 years old.
Man, I'll be there soon. You and me are going to have to grab a beer, brother.
Oh, you got it, man. You got it. And I'll be in Chicago actually this summer because we're driving to Colorado to see the sister, Chicago to see the family, and then Ohio to see all the high school friends.
I mean, a little mastermind together at the office.
Absolutely, man. I would absolutely love it. Yeah, you're talking about some strange verticals. I've got one of my mentors, Anthony. He has a student that actually made about $9 million selling dirt.
Yeah.
And I went, no, you're seriously like dirt? And he's like, yeah, fill dirt. That's his business. He
was that pay per lead, or what was he doing there?
I think it was a pay per lead. It was something, but yeah, it was basically fill dirt, for all these constructions and shit and need and want to get rid of, and he's got it covered in the areas, and it's like $9 million for dirt. I could dig it.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I know Darren's on this call right now. Darren sold a business well into the 7 figures recently.
Nice.
In pay per lead. Yep.
Darren, you and I, buddy, we gotta hook up.
Yeah.
I will thank you immensely for coming, hanging out. I can't believe we just did an hour and a half show, and if you weren't here live, you know where the replays are. They'll be broadcasted everywhere.
Super fun. Thank you for having me, Frank. Really, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Anytime. I mean, hey, when you go to launch, let's come on and talk about it and get more traction to you. I'm telling you, get over, join the group, sign up for the emails. Guys, you're not being sold shit. It's just honest freaking information, just like this. He's telling you what to do. Now just go out and do it. And if you're going to have questions, take it to the group. The group's really interactive, really helpful to each other, and do that. This is the SEO Show. I'm Frank Schwartz. That is Mr. Brian BURT. Weenie had to go do whatever he's doing, Byron. And we will talk to you next week, guys. Look for some really ninja Vegas videos that are going to be shot live. Go grab your coffee. Get the fuck out of here. Go have fun.
Get
Talk
shit
to you
done.
guys. Get shit